Ever since I began this TV Fails series, there have been comments arguing that such and such a show wasn't a fail, it just didn't get picked up for another season, etc. But with this show, so far, I haven't seen anybody disagree with my assessment that it is a fail. Today's final episode is a case study in what makes it a fail.
This is Arctic Research Outpost 3, calling Sealab Sub Dolphin. Come in, please. Dolphin, come in, please.
Sealab Sub Dolphin to Arctic Research Post number 3. We read you. Come in.
Our weather report is bad news. We're in an Arctic storm that is building steadily. We're showing a Force 8 blizzard.
Force 8 has to be devastating considering the scale that measures storm force only goes to 5.
This is Dr. Williams, Clark. Are you and John all right?
The building is self-sufficient with food, air, and fuel. Enough to last out any normal freeze-up.
How's that special ice cube with the rare specimen?
We have it stored inside. It's a good thing we chipped it out before the storm. It was buried in 10 feet of ice. But the coelacanth will be ready for you.
Are you positive it is a coelacanth? Did you find time to check it out?
According to your description, it's your 5-million-year-old fish.
They keep saying the one they found is 5 million years old, but since it's still in a block of ice and they haven't had a chance to test anything, that's a guess. For ages, scientists thought the coelacanth was extinct. Then in 1938, some fishermen off the coast of South Africa caught one alive. Do these guys not know that? The fish is the dolphin's mission. They're to collect it and pass it along for study. By the way, Sealab has a full-size submarine called the Dolphin. Deep Diver is its little brother.
Sealab Sub Dolphin, we're in big trouble. Paul, we've split away from the ice cap. We're beginning to drift out to sea.
Don't lose contact. Keep sending.
Okay, we aren't even sure where this station is. Our first look at it places it far back from the edge in a reasonably solid spot. But suddenly it's on a itty-bitty promontory that no duh it's going to break off in a storm like this. That kind of sloppiness characterizes the whole series. I haven't been trying to point out all the instances because if I did, there wouldn't be time to talk about anything else. The situation gets worse when their impromptu cruise ship does a Poseidon adventure. From here, we literally spend the next 13 minutes doing absolutely nothing. The Dolphin is wandering around trying to find the drifting upside down station. They bump into some ice and have to make repairs on the rudder, but it's not a big deal. Meanwhile, our two researchers, Clark and John, are huddled up in their Arctic gear without power to warm them, just waiting. Of the two of them, John is minimally interesting.
I can't stand this much longer, Clark. I'm freezing.
Just hang in there, John. I'm sure the Dolphin is searching for us right now.
You're just guessing. We're just kidding ourselves that we'll be found.
You don't know Paul Williams like I do.
He'll never figure we survived till now anyway.
He'll figure. Paul will work it out.
What good will it do if he does find us, if we've frozen to death? Or drown when this shelter breaks up? You know, it's no joke, but we could look like that coelacanth if they don't find us.
Stop worrying. They'll get here. We've only been cold for a couple of days. That fish has been buried in the ice for 5 million years.
Yeah, at least it doesn't know how cold it is.
Can you imagine, John? We found something that's 5 million years old.
Whoopee. Somehow I can't feel too interested at a time like this.
Gloom, despair, and agony on me.
He'll keep being Little Mary Sunshine even when they know help is coming.
Clark! Clark!
Take it easy. Get hold of yourself.
I hear it, Clark. Listen, I'm not crazy. I hear an engine.
Yeah, I hear it too. It is an engine. Turbine or electrical. Could be the sub.
Uh-oh. That's not an iceberg. Dr. Williams, I've got some sound.
First things first, they'll need to drill a hole in the dome and pump air into the space. They need to build up enough pressure to keep the water out while they extricate these guys.
I don't hear it now.
Of course not. They found us and stopped.
Well, how do you know? Maybe they passed by.
How long has Clark been cooped up in that station with this?
They're here, down below.
Why are they drilling holes?
Because all your exits are frozen shut and they need to make a door?
Don't worry, they know what they're doing.
But we'll fill with water.
You're exactly right, John. They came all this way, busted up their sub, took 2 days to decompress so they could come to the surface. Also, they could finish the job and drown you by inches.
How much water will come in?
Just a few feet. Then they'll probably force more air pressure in, so the water will be held out when they break through.
I just hope they know what they're doing.
Gosh, no, they don't. They're just winging it since this is their first time going underwater. Dude!
Hear that air pumping in? It's building up pressure to hold the water down.
Pressure? That could pop this hut right off the ice.
Do you have a better idea? Then please shush. I can just see this guy. Hey, John, you want a lifetime supply of ice cream? Oh, nuts, now I'm gonna get fat. The Sealab boys have broken through and the air pressure is keeping the water out. They're ready to bring these two to the Dolphin.
Better get into these diving suits fast. We're gonna have to swim out.
Swim? Can't you attach the submarine somehow?
No, we're not equipped for that. Come on, get into this.
No, I can't.
What's holding them up, Gale? Time's important.
Exactly what we'd expect to hold them up, a full-grown crybaby. Cram him into the stuff and get going. That's essentially what they do. If I'm Clark, after this I request an assignment as far away from John as possible, maybe the Antarctic.
Guide us away from those giant ice cubes, Gale.
You're okay.
Hey, look behind you.
Wow.
It's breaking up.
Okay, John, are you satisfied that they knew what they were doing? You're alive and you have the fish.
Think of it, Bobby. 5 million years ago, that was a thriving species.
That's interesting, considering when that live one was caught, we assumed it had been extinct for 66 million years. Maybe Paul can't count that high. Speaking as someone who can skillfully count to 1, I understand.
Huh? What luck to find it frozen in such perfect condition.
I don't get it.
What's the matter, Bobby?
You mean you can't pronounce coelacanth?
No, I can't figure out why everybody is so excited about a frozen fish.
Well, Hal told you it's 5 million years old.
I know, but
It can be a fantastic benefit to humanity.
that's what I'm asking. What makes it so special?
I've sometimes wondered that myself. It doesn't have any food value. As far as I could find, there's nothing medically beneficial. So I'm with Bobby. What's the big toot?
Well, Bobby, studying it might help us find out why it nearly became extinct. It just adds more to mankind's storehouse of knowledge. And as a result of that knowledge, man might learn more about his own survival. Don't you see?
To me, it still looks like a frozen fish with a silly look on its face.
So it's special because it's there. We can preserve it and put it on display and charge people to look at it. What a scientific breakthrough. That was Sealab 2020. These are the kinds of stories that Super Friends used for their 7-minute opening and closing cartoons because they have just enough plot to fit into 7 minutes. Sealab 2020 took 7 minutes of material and crammed it into 20 minutes. To my mind, this is the biggest reason the show failed. The stories aren't big enough to fill the time slot. So you end up with 13 minutes of filler, busy work, what have you, stuff that doesn't advance the story along. The sequence fixing the rudder was over 3 minutes long when it should have been 1 at the most. That was a consistent thing throughout the series. Having smaller plots could have worked if they had made each episode 3 short cartoons rather than 1 long one, but as usual, I seem to be the only person who thinks of things like that. I admit I did enjoy sharing the information I have about diving, and some of the equipment they have is reasonably close to developments in diving technology by 2020. Those breathing packs they use are known today as rebreathers. Whereas with an open circuit system like this, you exhale the air, it comes out these vents and heads to the surface. A rebreather puts your exhaled air back into the machinery where it gets scrubbed of CO2, gains a little oxygen, and with a rebreather you can stay down for several hours if you want to and not run out of air. They're also impossibly complicated and heavy and more than I want to fiddle with. But diving without making bubbles the way they did is a thing now. The full face masks with communicators were around by 2020. I tried one out once. I pointed out some mistakes they made doing the actual diving, but their gear was more or less spot on. Unless your name is Jerry Seinfeld, you can't make a show about nothing and expect it to survive, especially on Saturday morning. Kids came to these cartoons expecting stories they could understand and lots of fun things for their heroes to do. But that requires villains. This show didn't have any, and to be blunt, it has too many heroes. People our age might understand what's going on in terms of a team effort, but the kids are looking for distinction. What makes any of them stand out as a genuine hero? Nothing. They're all just basic workers, even Captain Murphy. To sum up, I don't think this show ever figured out what it wanted to be. Too small plots, too many cooks in the kitchen, virtually no action of any kind. That's not going to hold a kid's interest. Obviously it didn't. I'll be taking a break for a few weeks and then I'll be back with a brand new TV Fails. In the meantime, if you want to see some shorter cartoons done right, check out Super Friends as well as the Marvel superheroes from 1966. Links are at the end of this video. Or just take a dive into my playlists and find a show you like. There's something here for everybody and it's all family friendly. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again soon. A rebreather puts your exhaled hair. I knew I was going to do that.